First Diddy party I went to was at Prince's house. So you want to go to Prince's house to the Diddy party where Tyrese is performing and Demi Moore and Ashton Kutcher are swinging.
Diddy's whole vibe is getting shook. Secret wild parties at Prince's spot, no security allowed, hidden cams, and lawsuits blowing up. With celeb jurors in the mix and rumors flying, this mess might just spill all the Hollywood tea nobody saw coming. This ain't just about Diddy, fam. There's something almost surreal about imagining a star-studded party thrown by Diddy, not in a club or luxury penthouse, but at Prince's mansion, a location steeped in mystique and legendary secrecy. This wasn't just another celebrity get-together. The air reportedly felt charged, almost cinematic, like walking into the climax of a neo-noir thriller.
On swings. That is what's happening on the other side of the wall. And so the one thing that makes this party different than a Jamie Foxx party or any other celebrity party that wrangles a bunch of young women or guys or whatever too, is that Diddy didn't let you bring your security in the party.
Tyrese performed live, while Demi Moore and Ashton Kutcher, still together at the time, were seen whispering in corners, mingling in an atmosphere that many described as otherworldly. But what really made this party unlike any other was the venue itself. Prince's estate wasn't some average Hollywood compound. It was a fortress of soundproof walls, purple-lit hallways, and unspoken rules.
It became such a big deal back then is ever since my third album, I wasn't really taking large advances from the recording companies. I was recording the albums myself in my own studio. So the way I looked at it, I owned the work because I paid for it. And I did all the work. I created it, so I felt like it should belong to me. That said, the companies felt otherwise, and they would always hold this contract up and say, well, you signed it.
Stories have swirled for years that stepping foot into that house meant entering a different reality, one where music royalty met industry shadows, and where what happened inside was never meant to leave. And when you factor in Diddy's reputation for lavish yet mysterious parties, it begs the question, why this house?
And I say, well, I understand that. It's not like I want to leave. I just want to, talk about this thing and see if we can't make it more fair. Of course, they wouldn't change, because if they changed, they wouldn't really exist. And that's kind of the situation we're in right today. They're not going to exist much longer. But it's not like we're against them or anything like that. The idea is that we find better ways of working with one another. It shouldn't be a situation where they own the album or the work. We're talking about intellectual copyright. If they're going to be indeed a delivery service, then that's fine. But even FedEx doesn't say that they own the thing that they ship.
For many attendees, it was unforgettable. But for others, it's a memory they've tried to erase. One of the most chilling and bizarre details about Diddy's elite parties is the rule that set them apart from nearly every other celebrity event. Absolutely no security allowed inside. Unlike gatherings hosted by people like Jamie Foxx, where personal bodyguards and PR reps hover close by, Diddy's events demanded full submission. If you wanted in, you came alone. No entourage, no protection, no exceptions. That policy raised serious eyebrows and triggered a wave of speculation. What kind of environment requires total vulnerability from already high-profile guests? Some believe this was a power play, a way to maintain dominance and control. Others suggest it was about plausible deniability. No one to record, no one to intervene. Guests had to leave their phones behind too, creating a vacuum of surveillance. But only for them. Because insiders have whispered for years that surveillance was happening, just not by the guests. This extreme level of privacy paints a picture not just of exclusivity, but of calculated control. When you strip away a celebrity's buffer, their team, their security, you create a situation where anything can happen and no one can stop it. And given the allegations that have surfaced recently, this no security rule might take on a far more sinister meaning. Prince was notoriously private, but some now claim his love for privacy went beyond locked doors and tight circles. Rumors suggest he had surveillance systems installed throughout his mansion, possibly capturing everything that happened inside. We're not just talking about security cameras at the gate. This was allegedly full-blown audiovisual coverage, hidden and layered throughout the estate. Whispers in the music industry allege that Prince, ever the perfectionist and forward thinker, might have recorded key events, conversations, and yes, possibly even the behavior of his high-profile guests. If true, this raises uncomfortable possibilities. Was he doing it as insurance, to protect himself? Or was he building an archive documenting the real Hollywood behind closed doors? Considering Prince's distrust of the industry and his fight for artist rights, some speculate he knew just how dark the entertainment world could get, and made it his mission to document it all, just in case. These alleged recordings were never mentioned publicly during his life, but in the wake of his death, questions are mounting. If this tech existed and if it was ever activated during events like Diddy's party, it could mean there's a treasure trove of footage somewhere, buried, protected, or perhaps even waiting to be found. As Diddy faces mounting scrutiny and high-profile legal claims, speculation has reignited around what might have been captured during those infamous nights at Prince's mansion. If Prince truly had surveillance systems in place, the biggest question becomes, what happened to the footage? And more importantly, who has it now? There's been quiet chatter in Hollywood that Prince, being paranoid about posthumous manipulation of his image and estate, may have left certain assets to trusted confidants or encrypted storage. Some theories suggest the footage, if it exists, could have been inherited by a family member or locked away in a legal trust, waiting for a trigger to be released. If even a fraction of what's rumored is true, unfiltered footage of celebrities behaving recklessly or engaging in legally questionable behavior, it could detonate the industry. Insiders are reportedly bracing for what some have dubbed the Prince tapes, fearing that a scandal bigger than Epstein or Weinstein could erupt if visual proof emerges. While nothing has been confirmed, the idea that the most elusive artist in pop culture history may have quietly documented the downfall of the elite is the kind of plot twist Hollywood couldn't script better. In a twist that feels ripped straight from a surreal courtroom drama, recent reports claim that jury selection for Diddy's potential trial included names no one expected to see: Michelle Williams, Mike Myers, Robert Downey Jr., Lauren London, and even Young Miami. On the surface, it might seem like random coincidence, but Hollywood is rarely that random. Some are wondering if these names were floated intentionally, perhaps to send a message or muddy the waters. Young Miami, in particular, raised eyebrows given her public and allegedly private ties to Diddy. Her name appearing in any legal context tied to this case opens a minefield of conflict of interest and deeper implications. Are these just statistical anomalies in a high-profile legal circus? Or could there be subtle plays happening behind the scenes? It's not unheard of for high-profile figures to be placed or removed from cases as a strategic move. In a world where optics are everything, the mere suggestion that A-listers could be part of the trial narrative adds another layer of tension, intrigue, and potential manipulation to an already chaotic legal storm. What started as a personal lawsuit is quickly ballooning into a sprawling investigation that threatens to pull in Diddy's entire inner circle. Rumors have begun swirling that Young Miami, once thought to be just a romantic partner, might have had deeper involvement. Some even speculate she transported illicit substances or helped manage private events under questionable circumstances. Though none of this is confirmed, authorities are reportedly widening their lens, not just on Diddy, but on those closest to him. His staff, assistants, event planners, even longtime collaborators are allegedly being quietly questioned. It's no longer just about what Diddy may have done, but who else knew, who helped, and who stayed silent. If even a fraction of the whispered claims are accurate, this could turn into a domino effect of indictments, immunity deals, and exposed secrets. There's growing tension within the industry as insiders brace for who might flip, who might be implicated, and whether this investigation will stay limited to Diddy or unravel an entire ecosystem of exploitation masked by fame. It was Cassie's lawsuit that cracked the dam wide open. The former singer and longtime partner of Diddy dropped a legal bombshell that shook the industry to its core, alleging a chilling pattern of manipulation, control, and abuse over the span of years. But what made her claims even more disturbing was the mention of so-called freak-off parties, allegedly arranged by Diddy's team. According to her filing, these weren't casual get-togethers. They were meticulously planned, with staff tasked with recruiting guests, securing locations, and ensuring privacy at all costs. Cassie claimed these events weren't just morally questionable, but psychologically damaging, and hinted that other celebrities may have witnessed or participated in behavior that crossed legal and ethical lines. While some initially dismissed her claims as exaggerated or personal vendetta, her testimony seemed to match long-standing whispers that had floated around Diddy's circle for years. And once her story became public, the the silence that had protected this elite bubble began to rupture. One of the most disturbing layers of this unfolding saga is the alleged complicity of the institutions and individuals who surrounded Diddy. According to various reports and legal documents, employees didn't just look the other way, they allegedly helped orchestrate and cover up behavior that crossed serious boundaries. From signing NDAs to arranging payments and hush gifts, these insiders may have formed a wall of protection around Diddy, allowing him to operate without consequences. One particularly unsettling story involves an assistant who allegedly had a full-blown breakdown after being forced to participate in an event that left them emotionally shattered. If true, this paints a picture of a toxic ecosystem where silence was bought, trauma was normalized, and loyalty came at the cost of one's mental health. While many celebrities have teams that shield them, this goes far beyond basic PR. It suggests a coordinated effort to keep victims quiet, maintain a facade of glamour, and perpetuate a cycle of abuse hiding in plain sight. Cassie's lawsuit opened the door, and now more people are stepping through. Another accuser, only identified as Jane Doe, came forward with harrowing claims involving not just Diddy, but also Harve Pierre, a high-ranking executive at Bad Boy Records. Her lawsuit alleges that she was lured across state lines under the pretense of professional opportunities, only to find herself in a situation where her safety and autonomy were stripped away. These stories are now stacking up fast, and each new voice makes it harder for the industry to maintain its silence. For years, there were whispers about what went on behind the velvet curtain of fame, but now those whispers are becoming loud, legal, and specific. Each new lawsuit peels back another layer of a system that many believe was built on exploitation and protected by fame. And if more alleged victims come forward, especially those with names the public knows, this scandal could snowball into a reckoning the entertainment world is utterly unprepared for. At this point, it's clear we're no longer talking about just one man's downfall. Diddy might be the central figure, but the growing allegations, resurfacing of Prince-related rumors, and expanding investigations point to a far larger story, one that could expose the underbelly of the entertainment elite. If even a sliver of Prince's rumored recordings exist, and if more insiders break ranks, we could be looking at a full-scale unraveling of Hollywood's upper echelon. This isn't just about personal misconduct. This is about how power, fame, and influence have been used to cover up systematic exploitation for decades. What was once whispered in private rooms is now flooding the public arena. And the question isn't if more will come out. It's how much and how soon. A culture of silence may finally be breaking, and what comes next could permanently reshape the landscape of celebrity, justice, and accountability.